Hey everybody, welcome to our Wednesday. I just messed it all up. Our weekly Zoom call, Driving Lives podcast. There we go. It's been a little bit. Just that 1 week off and absolutely no sleep last night has me all totally screwed up. We're gonna make a quick one tonight, talking about kind of going off the same topic we talked about a couple weeks ago about vacation. I just got back last night from a vacation. I know Renee goes on one tomorrow. She actually has got a couple back-to-back quick trips. And then I know a lot of other people are either currently on vacation or coming back on one or planning one here soon. So we're going to kind of talk about those things as well to kind of be a part two of what we talked about last week. But as we kind of get into it, we're going to kind of skip the pleasantries that Renee and I always do. So let's kind of get into yeah. So I've got Lola here today, and like I said, Nicole's not here tonight, so I've got Lola, and she has been a mess all day. She's been a mess all day because when we got back from Portugal, it's 6 hour time difference. You can probably hear right now. 6 hour time difference. We got back last night, and got her to bed around 9:30 or so. However, when it was 1 a.m., she woke up like it was 7 a.m. Portugal time because she got used to that time. So at 1 a.m., she was like, I'm ready to start my day. And so that's pretty much when I started my day. So running on minimal sleep, it was already a 24 plus hour travel day yesterday and got about 4 hours of sleep last night. So we are here, probably going to crash real hard after the Zoom call, actually. But so talking about vacation though. So my intentions in going on this vacation from a work standpoint, usually I work during vacation at some point doing check-ins. This time around, I said no check-ins other than a handful of our newer Thriving Lives fitness people. But outside of that, though, it was awesome to kind of unplug. And if your business is on your guys' phones, laptop, stuff of that nature. I mean, if you're on vacation, definitely try to dive into exactly what you're doing on vacation, and that is unplugging and checking out from your normal stresses and things of that nature, and kind of just turning off for that amount of time. So that was great for me to get to do. So that was one of my big intentions, was from a stress standpoint, is just completely back off and relax and just be totally present in the moment. And I did a really good job of that the whole time. So I was proud of that. I try to stay off social media too much with it. I made a post or two, but that was about it. But outside of that, though, from a nutrition standpoint, this is kind of how I go about vacations. This is what I recommend a lot of people do as well. I'm extremely consistent with my nutrition, my workouts, my sleep, all the components of health during any normal day, any normal week or month of the year. Very consistent with it throughout. So when I'm on vacation, when it is the holiday time, stuff of that nature, I'm going to indulge and I'm going to enjoy myself, but still within reason. Like even if I'm letting go a little bit, it might just be having, two entrees of fish, which I did a couple different times on this trip. But I didn't go absolute overboard on crazy foods. Alcohol standpoint, I'm not a huge drinker, either is Nicole, so that makes it pretty easy for us. Goodness. Can you hear her? All right, good deal. At least I'm turning her away from the screen so you can't hear her bouncing and grooving. But yeah, so from an alcohol standpoint, that's pretty easy for me to kind of moderate that on vacation. Now we were in Portugal, so like they're known for port wine and stuff of that nature is where that comes from. I had a little bit of wine, didn't really go crazy with it. Again, Nicole's still breastfeeding, so kind of had that life hack right there, was that since she was breastfeeding, she wasn't drinking much, if any at all, the whole vacation. So it made it easy for me to kind of stay away from alcohol. So that was one easy thing to kind of avoid empty calories. I still did have a couple beers, a couple days. That was about it though. Outside of that though, I just wanted to indulge in kind of what the food had to offer there. That was just different stuff, which was, we're on the coast, so lots of fish. My intentions from a food perspective were really just going to be to try to get in 3 or 4 good servings of protein a day, and then kind of let the chips fall where they may outside of that. My other intention was water intake. We did amazing job when it came to water intake. Every day we would stop by some sort of a store to get a couple, like they have like bigger than liters. They had like 1.5 liter bottles. We would get a handful of those every day actually, and go through those. So Nicole and I both were probably having about a gallon or so of water each day, really with no difficulties. Um, and yeah, so water intake was on point. One of the other things that they're really known for there is sardines. I knew that going into it, so whether that's sardines at like a restaurant or like the canned sardines and stuff that you can get. A lot of different canned fishes. And so I actually loaded up like day one and spent like probably 50 euro on, which is like, I don't know, 60 American dollars on like canned sardines and stuff. So each day I'd have a can or two of sardines or mackerel, that type of stuff. So there was one solid protein right there. And then obviously eating out, we would do that. They also, I mean, cafes are a big thing, and coffee shop stuff of that nature. So we would get some different pastries and stuff like that, and I indulged in that and enjoyed that. And that was more so my like, that and dessert with dinners was our bigger splurge when it came to, to calorie perspective. A few of the days we were there, we were staying at a resort, and they had a like an all inclusive like breakfast type thing. One of the best breakfasts I've had like at hotels or stuff of that nature. And each day again with that, I was prioritizing protein. I knew that we were going to be out and about a lot of the day. And so, there I could have loaded up on all the sweets and pancakes and French toast and stuff of that nature that they had as well. And I had a little bit of that, but I prioritized protein. So I was getting the omelets that luckily they were using like olive oil to make those omelets with instead of your bad like seed oils and stuff like that. So that was nice. Scrambled
I
eggs.
think it's good to preface and say that you prioritize protein because you knew it would make you feel better to then go and tackle the day, like walking around and things like that. It's not like you're afraid of the calories in French
Yeah,
toast.
no.
It's more so, just clarifying, more so that Marcus knows this because this is how he's going to feel best.
Yes,
Whereas,
I'm happy you said that. I don't want
yeah,
to
I
talk
think a
shit
lot
on
of times
on
people
it.
think on like diet culture, they're like, oh, well, I shouldn't eat the French toast because it's going to mess up my calories for the entire day. And while Marcus wasn't focusing on calories, it's more so the fact of he's going to feel like shit if he eats
Yeah,
that French toast.
yeah.
And so he wanted to feel his best for the trip. So he prioritized protein because he's learned throughout his journey of being healthy that that's what you do to feel better. That's all.
I'm happy you mentioned that because yes, I didn't think about calories once on the trip. I didn't think about my macros. Again, I prioritize protein, but outside of that, as like a macro focus, I didn't care where I ended up, even on protein wise. I just made sure that the meals that I was having, that was the main composition of that meal as well with it. But yeah, like French toast and pancakes and all the different pastries and stuff like that. Again, I indulge in the times that it made sense to. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to start off the day with just all
Spiking the
that
blood
added
sugar.
sugar and stuff like that going into you, especially because I knew that we were going to be out and about all day and I wanted to allow myself to kind of have that fun, but also not feel, bogged down by the really heavy breakfast when it came to that type of stuff. One of the things I found as well at that same resort, and this is a thing that, Renee is about to go to an all inclusive down in Mexico, kind of same thing, is she's gonna have access to all sorts of foods, goods, bads, whatever the case is. One of the things I thought was cool is they had like different like big containers of like different seeds and stuff you could add like with their yogurt. And so they had chia seeds there, they had yogurt there. So
Right.
that was one of the things that Nicole and I did every morning with breakfast was have yogurt and chia seeds with it just to try to get in that fiber because that was probably the one of the harder things to like really get in. And I think we all struggle with digestion issues a little bit to some extent on vacations and stuff like that. Just the travel aspect of it, the stress of that travel, I think is one of the culprits of that. And then obviously when our food's different, alcohol is different. If you're
I think
dehydrated,
it goes to show too that like America would never have chia seeds at a breakfast
no,
buffet.
yeah,
And
yes,
so it's
yes.
just, I mean, we could go on a tangent of we won't, but American food
Yeah.
versus other
Well,
countries'
and
foods.
again, like they had an omelet station, so you could go and ask them, make your little custom omelet with the things they had, like the ingredients they had there. But and I didn't have to ask. One of the ladies in front of me when she was out ordering hers on day one there said, "Hey, are you using olive oil to make the omelets?" And they didn't even have the other oils that like if you went to an American any restaurant for the most
Olive oil.
they're using canola oil or whatever the case would be with that. So I think that was awesome as well. So yeah, that is the cool thing about like Europe and those places is they're I mean, it's not weird for them just to have these healthier options, right? They're still having tasty omelets, so they're still having French toast and stuff of that nature, but the ingredients in which they're using to make those things, they're just better. And that's that's just the unfortunate aspect of American nutrition and our nutrition standards and things of that nature. But yeah, so from a food perspective, that was kind of my goal with it. Again, I could care less about what the calories ended up at each day, my macros ended up, and that was for a 10-day trip. So it wasn't like it was just 2 days that I was just kind of doing whatever. It was 10 days, but through intuitive eating and stuff of that nature, and being smart about when it made sense to really indulge and when it didn't, we definitely made it work. Exercise standpoint, some if I was here in America especially, and I want to check out the different gyms, I would do that on vacation. This was one of those situations where there wasn't really a lot of access to different gyms with it, not to mention we had Lola, and it just didn't make any sense to really go to the gym. So every plus, not to mention we were walking a ton every day. I think I probably averaged 15 to 20,000 steps a day, so I knew we were getting that in. We did some swimming and stuff at that resort that we were at for 3 days in the southern coast of Portugal. They also had actually a pretty solid gym. They even had a sauna and a steam room in the gym as well. I only use the sauna a little bit, but the gym wise, I had a couple good quick workouts, like very quick, like 15, 20 minutes, just to get in there, just for the fun of it. But again, if I didn't get those in, I would not have been stressed about it, because again, it comes back to what am I doing when I'm here at home and the consistent habits that come with that. My time spent there was going to be on what we were doing with the family and where we were exploring and stuff of that nature. So really all my intentions were pretty well met. I wasn't going there with some intentions to be on a strict plan, or, cut my calories or anything like that. One of the other benefits too of handling my diet like I do, what I try to get a lot of people to get to at different phases in their kind of, their health journey and stuff of that nature, is after we're done with the cut phase and we lose body fat, is to try to get our calories up to a healthy amount. And so one of the benefits of these things are like what happens on vacation, right? My calories might have been fairly high, but I'm used to my calories being pretty high because I reverse dieted after different cut phases. So since I stay at a pretty high amount of calories when I'm here at home, I went there and I didn't check my weight this morning, but I'm sure, I mean, just by look and feel and everything else, I'm about the same as what I left at, around 170 or so. I'm sure that's what I came back, maybe a little bit up for a day or two just because of the water retention from traveling. But outside of that, though, yeah, I mean, I feel pretty solid coming back to it. Trying to think if there's really anything else that intention wise, water was checked off, sleep as good as it could be. Again, that's one of those things where you're on vacation, so you get what you can, but at the same time, we had a 8-month-old there with us, so sleep was only going to be as good as it could be. I think getting back home is going to be the harder aspect of sleep, because like I said, 6 hour time difference right now. 1 a.m. feels like her 7 a.m. and now her sleep's all messed up today, and right now she's wild for some reason. But we'll get it figured out. But yeah, so that was kind of the trip. And then today, my first things that I did, or actually last night, I grabbed my cooked chicken, my cooked ground beef from the fridge, or from the freezer, and threw those into the fridge so that they were thawed out by today. First thing this morning when I got up, I went ahead and made a week's worth of rice in my rice cooker. So by noon, I had rice as well. And then I actually went to the grocery store at Sam's Club real quick and got all my necessities outside of those couple things. But even if I didn't have the time to go to Sam's Club today midday, I still had my main proteins and carbs ready to go. Had frozen fruit in the fridge, frozen veggies in the fridge as well. So, and protein shake makings and stuff of that nature. So really, I had all my stuff. I just was able to. I had the time to stop at the grocery store and grab some little extras. But back on it though. I mean, my meals are pretty normal as of today, so didn't skip a beat. And that's just, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, the importance of when you come back from vacation is, I got back on a late on a Tuesday night. It would have been very easy for me to say, oh, let's just keep it going until Monday, but then that's when, especially getting back to America, where the food that we're gonna be eating out on, then I'm turning what was already a 10-day vacation now into a 17-day vacation. A week of that could have been in control. And that's where I think a lot of people really slip up, is that they've lost the momentum on vacation. They come back and they're like, oh, we'll get back to it, because it's harder. When you've said yes to everything when you're on vacation, it's hard to start saying no again. But you just got to do it, rip the Band-Aid off, dive back in for a few days. Not to mention, usually most people come back and they feel bloated. Their weight might be up a little bit. Maybe they're just feeling more sluggish or out of the routine and stuff like that. We want to get back to thriving as fast as we can. And so that's obviously what I did day one, was just make sure I dialed back into it. And then also from a cost perspective, from my financial perspective, vacations are never going to be cheap. So when you come back home and you don't have that cooked chicken or that cooked ground beef or whatever ready to go, if you don't prioritize getting to the grocery store right away, then it would be very easy for me to have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, before I really get meal prepped again, to eat out 2 or 3 times a day because I was underprepared. So now, from a health perspective, from a nutrition perspective, from a momentum and continuity standpoint, and from a financial standpoint, I'm just digging myself a greater hole if I allow myself to really struggle over the next 4 or 5 days. So that's another reason why we just dive right back in as fast as we're able to. And now I'm already got my momentum going. I'll get some good sleep tonight, hopefully, because I desperately need it. And then probably get back to the gym the next day or two. But yeah, that was really it. Renee, did I miss really anything in terms of what I could have controlled or been intentional about? Just want to make sure I kind of check all those boxes.
No, I don't think so. Um, no.
All right. Well, what about you then? Since you leave tomorrow, you're going to an all-inclusive in Cancun, correct?
Yep.
Perfect. How many days?
5 days, and then I'm home for one day, and I have to repack, and then I'm driving to Denver
Awesome. And how long
for
is that?
5 days. Denver, I'm staying with my friends. We'll have more access to like home cooked meals if we want to.
Mhm.
Um, for me, it's more so, again, all my dietary restrictions. I have a hard time eating out anyways.
Yeah.
So, and then the one day I'm home next week is my birthday, so I don't know what I'll do for food that day.
The
Um,
one day you're home is happens to be on your birthday. That's
I
wild.
know, I know, it's a good time. Um, so yeah, I'll get home late Tuesday night, and then my birthday is Wednesday, and then I'll leave Thursday morning.
Good deal.
So I, for my meals this week, like since I had a half a week before I leave tomorrow, I had my meal prep that I normally make on Sundays for like my lunch, which is normally 6 meals. So I just ate my same lunch for lunch and dinner. So that cut out the 6 meals right there.
That's good.
And then I have tuna at home. I can eat like canned tuna for next week, or I got a frozen pizza because that's quick and easy. Like for
Mhm.
Tuesday night, or like when I get home from the airport or whatever. And again, I mean, it's not like I do that all the time, but
Yeah.
my pizza is like it's cauliflower crust that I'm still getting. It's not just like terribly shit pizza.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
when
It's
I'm
not
home
just
for one day, it's not like I'm really gonna have like
yeah.
frozen stuff in the freezer to
That's all.
defrost when I'm like it
Yeah.
just wasn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Um so I don't really know my plan as far as like when I get off the plane tomorrow, it'll be like noon and I'll be starving and I have no idea what to expect in a Mexican
Yeah.
airport.
Yep.
Um
Actually,
yeah.
when the last couple of times I went to Mexico, as soon as I get off the plane on the way out, and maybe most people wouldn't do this, but I got like some sort of a salmon like sandwich on the way out, which was
At the
delicious.
airport?
Yeah, yeah. I would never do that here in America. It'd be dog shit. But there, for real though, it was I think about it to this day. It was delicious salmon sandwich. So I think it was Cancun too that we flew into. So you might have access to a pretty good little sandwich there though.
Well, I can't have bread, but
We might have gluten free. Who knows?
maybe. So I have like protein bar. Oh, I guess I can talk about this. For my trip, I packed my like greens because I know that helps my digestion. So eating food off my like normal stuff, I want my greens, and then I have protein shakes if needed, and I have my protein bars if needed. Like if one of the meals is just terrible, then at least I have some
Good.
food, and more so that's more like my anxiety of like just making sure I have some food so I'm not starving. Um,
That's one of the things you can very easily control, so that you're not stuck eating bullshit or starving, like you said as well.
Yeah, so that's the thing
It's
too,
just
is like
coming
I won't
prepared.
eat bullshit. Like
Yeah.
if it's eat wheat or don't eat, like I won't eat.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean that's usually never the case. Like I can at least eat like the meat and nothing else. But
Right.
at that point, yeah. So um that's kind of my plan. I mean, I feel like I will
Well, you're going to be all inclusive,
All
so
inclusive, so I'll have to figure out water and all the things. But
at least at resorts, like obviously, not drinking water outside of the resorts, but usually the resorts, it's usually pretty clean and you have
yeah,
pretty easy access to that. And since it's going to be an all inclusive, I assume you'll have access to really whatever. Um, the different buffets and stuff like that, like for breakfast, lunch, whatever, then cool.
yeah.
And then usually they'll have those restaurants and stuff that you can kind of pick and choose. Um, I don't know. I've never a huge fan of like the all-inclusive food just because I just feel like it is almost just like American shit just kind of thrown out there.
Yes, yeah.
Um, but
Yeah, I've never been, so I don't really know what to expect. So
yeah,
I think that's more of like my I think a lot of times for me, like traveling comes down to like my anxiety. I tend to get anxious before the trip, and then just like not knowing like what I can eat makes
yeah,
traveling really difficult.
yeah,
And then I also have a hard time relaxing and like not working, not being productive.
yeah.
And so this will be a good challenge. And then I'm trying to work on my mindset, which my mom helped me with tonight because the weather is just straight rain in Cancun for every single fucking day. And so she said, control the controllables. She's like, Marcus will tell you to control the controllables. And I'm like, okay. This is a hard one for me. So yeah, more so vacations, just trying to get myself to force myself to relax and exactly not letting go of control, which is difficult for me in
Yes,
all
yes.
aspects.
I
And
know.
so
Yeah, yeah. I definitely understand that. I do think that Cancun's gonna be similar to like Florida, where there's a good chance of rain often, but like then you're gonna have lots of sunshine as well and kind of be intermittent with it.
so
But
that's what that's what everyone tells me, but I'm a psycho and I look at the weather app and then
I
I've
get
been
it.
looking at TikTok and like looking at like what is happening in Cancun right now and it's like a hurricane basically.
Yeah,
Um so I won't know until I get there and I can't
yeah,
control it. And
yeah.
so worst case scenario, um I don't know. I just
You'll figure it out, and
figure it out.
at minimum, you're already there. So it's just make lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah.
Find
Yeah.
find how you can still do, adapt to it and still enjoy yourself. And
Yeah.
again, it's just an escape from your normal day to day
Routine. Yeah. Which
stuff like
I'm
that.
such a routine person though that like if I'm gonna throw myself off routine, I want it to be like really worth it.
Awesome. Yeah,
But again, this is it's almost more important, I think, for me to experience things like this to
yeah.
then grow and learn and be like, look, okay, it may not be perfect, but
Do you guys have like any excursions planned or plan to go off resort or anything else?
we're swimming with whale sharks one of the days, hopefully, if you
All
can
right.
get in the ocean.
That's
Um,
it.
Whale sharks are like these massive
Yeah,
whales. They're like 40 feet long, I think.
yeah.
And then we're supposed to go to Tulum one day.
Nice.
Um, and then I think do like some shopping maybe one day. I don't know. Um,
If you're able to squeeze in a excursion to like some cenotes, those are fucking
yes,
awesome.
that's on our Tulum day.
Okay,
Um, there's
sweet.
an outdoor gym in Tulum that
Yeah, I've seen.
I really, really, really want to go to, and we haven't narrowed that down yet on how to get there safely.
Yeah,
Um, so
makes sense.
that's tough. But that may be something where like, okay, I can always go back to Tulum another time in my life and go to
Yeah,
the gym.
of course, of course. The
But
cenotes is really really cool though.
yes, there's like a cave cenote that we have planned on one of our excursions.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited to see that. And
Yeah.
yeah,
So all right. So then you come back from Mexico then,
back to Mexico Tuesday night,
and then you turn around and go to
and then I'll have to go to work.
Colorado. Well, yeah, you have to go to work, but then you'll go to Colorado the following day after you go to work for one day,
Correct.
and then obviously with being in America, you'll have more access and control over things that you normally would, which is nice as well.
Mhm.
Um,
And that one, like I said, I'm driving. I have control of if I want to go to the grocery store, or if I want to do this, or I
you want
can
to cook at
pack
home or not cook at
all
home?
my supplements or all my protein shakes and
Yeah,
stuff in the car and um, things like that.
yeah,
So a lot more control in Denver,
yeah.
um, but still allowing myself to like have
Well,
fun.
for you, because like you always say, like you're not gonna go crazy with food just because you have food issues when it comes to like what your
Yeah.
body can actually tolerate. So you can only really go off reservations so much, but at the same time, it'll just be a good opportunity to mix up the foods and stuff like that. Maybe go to different restaurants
Yeah.
and again, Denver's a great place for those food sensitivities and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like two back to back and vastly different trips that you have coming up. So that's
Yes. Yeah.
awesome. Um, yeah, cool. So I mean, I think you'll crush it with no issue with it. But yeah, so I think the biggest thing with vacations, because I had a couple messages this last week about people having vacations kind of coming up that they're really nervous about how to do it. I mean, really everything we just kind of talked about. If you can bring some snacks with you that are more like within realm, just for convenience side of things, so that way you're not forced to make a terrible choice, but also not forced to starve yourself. That's good. So especially if you're within the States, bring those things with you. That's always good. And then, if you can look up restaurants ahead of time to kind of know where you're at. And plus that kind of for some people, maybe they just want to just, fly by the seat of their pants when they're there on vacation. But if you can come with a little bit of a plan, definitely do that. Our friends on the call, do you guys have any questions about vacations that you guys have it coming up that you want to chat about real quick? Want to give you guys the floor if you guys have anything. And if not, no worries. I know Joe's got a vacation coming up here soon to the lake. He's planning on doing some yoga while he's there and really just disconnecting. I know he's gonna be doing a lot of reading and stuff like that, so that'll be exciting for him. But yeah, so vacations, do not overstress about them, guys. They are just a couple days or maybe even a couple weeks outside of your norm. So focus on what do you do majority of the year. Those are the things we want to really, really improve on. Don't what I would recommend when it comes to indulging is don't do it just for the sake of, well, I'm on vacation. So like just throw caution to the wind totally with it. Don't necessarily do that. I would still be intentional and prioritize what makes sense, right? Don't get four desserts just because you're at an all inclusive. Like get the ones that you're actually going to enjoy the most, right? Um, yeah, so I think that's where people can kind of improve upon a little bit more.
Yeah.
Is still prioritizing what's worth, maybe not feeling that great. You know what I mean? Is it really worth having a massive hangover tomorrow when you are planning on going whatever just because you're on vacation and you really want to drink the night before? Or maybe that's going to be worth it to you, right? It just comes down to just be intentional with your thoughts kind of around it. Be mindful, moderate as it makes sense, but also enjoy yourself, get back home, kick some ass. But otherwise though, we will I think Renee, so Renee won't be on the next couple calls, I don't think. At least probably not the next one. It'll be her birthday, and then she's going out of town, obviously. So we will still be rocking our Zoom calls the next couple weeks. It'll just be me here
No,
doing it.
you have it the 26th, but you're not doing it the 3rd.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh shit, wait. So next, oh, okay, I got you. All right. So I'll see
Next
you
week's
guys
the
on
26th, but then the
26.
week after that is the 3rd. So yes, 26th, but no me 26th, but no for the 3rd.
Yes. No Zoom call on the third. That is correct. Thanks for reminding me of that. It seems wild that we're already
I
halfway
know.
through the year, guys. That's the other thing too, is that, hey, right now we are literally 6 months into the year. So if you haven't really reached your goals or not on the right track of doing things, then maybe start checking in first and foremost. But on top of that, let's get focused and really seize the summer. Summer I think kicks off on like the 20th or 21st, 22nd, something like that. So let's get going. Let's get
20th.
focused.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cute.
I think it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's
Anyway though,
summer solstice, I think. So is
is
that
that
the
it?
first day of summer, I guess?
I think so.
Yeah, cute.
So I think so. All right.
Cool.
Well, have a good trip, Renee, and everybody else.
Thank you.
See you guys on check-in day.
See you later.